Picture this. You're 35 years old, scrolling through your checking account at 2 a.m., and you've got $847 sitting there. Not broke, but definitely not building wealth. Your buddy from college just posted about his investment portfolio on social media, and meanwhile, you're one car repair away from credit card debt. You're making decent money, maybe $60,000, maybe $75,000, but somehow you're in the exact same financial position you were in 5 years ago. And every financial expert online is screaming about budgets and side hustles like you've got unlimited time and energy. Here's the thing that nobody's telling you about why this keeps happening. My name is Seb, and I'm basically obsessed with figuring out why some people build wealth and others stay stuck, even when they're making similar money. If you're tired of working hard and having nothing to show for it, hit that subscribe button. The first daily habit: automate your savings before you even see the money. Let me show you exactly why this matters with some research that'll blow your mind. There was a study at a Fortune 500 company where they switched from making employees opt into their 401k to automatically enrolling them. Just that one change, not asking people to make a decision, just doing it automatically, boosted participation from 49% to 86%. That's a 37 percentage point jump overnight. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Your willpower is not the problem. The problem is that you're relying on willpower at all. Think about it this way. Every single day, you make somewhere around 35,000 decisions. By evening, your brain is exhausted. That's when the pizza delivery sounds better than cooking, when the Amazon purchase seems reasonable, when saving for retirement seems impossible. But here's where it gets interesting. Research shows that people using automatic saving systems save 92% of their target amount. People who manually decide when to save, they only hit 60% of their goal. Same people, same income. The only difference is removing the decision. Let me paint you a picture with real numbers. If you automate just $10 every single day, that's $300 a month, and invest it at a 7% average return for 30 years, you end up with $365,577. Your actual contributions? $108,000. That means $257,577 came from pure compound growth. That's over 70% of your money that came from just being consistent and letting time do the work. The math gets even more brutal when you look at timing. Starting at 25 versus starting at 35 with the same $500 monthly contribution creates a difference of $708,356 by age 65. 10 years of delay costs you over $700,000. The second daily habit: capture every dollar of your employer's 401k match. Here's what nobody talks about. 25% of workers don't contribute enough to get their full employer match. That's literally leaving free money on the table. The average employer match, according to recent data, is 4.6% of your salary. On a $60,000 income, that's $2,760 every single year in money you didn't have to earn. Let me break this down for you. That $2,760 match, invested for 30 years at 7% returns, becomes approximately $307,000, not from your contributions, from money your employer gave you that you could have missed entirely. The typical match formula works like this: dollar for dollar on your first 3% of contributions, plus 50 cents on the dollar for the next 2%. So if you're contributing 5% of your $60,000 salary, you're putting in $3,000 and your employer is adding another $2,400. That's an instant 80% return before any investment growth happens. I know what you're thinking. 5% feels like a lot when you're barely covering expenses. Here's the thing. This is the highest return investment available to you anywhere. Nothing else gives you guaranteed 50% to 100% returns instantly. Credit card interest is destroying wealth at 22% annually. This builds it at 80% immediately. The third daily habit: track every single dollar you spend. This is where things get really interesting from a psychology perspective. There's something called the Hawthorne effect, which basically means people change their behavior just by being observed. When you're actively tracking your spending, not just looking at it once a month, but engaging with it daily, research shows you'll reduce discretionary spending by a median of $228 to $236 per month. Think about it this way. Right now, 59% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense without borrowing money. Another 33% have more credit card debt than emergency savings. These aren't just broke people. 36% of Americans earning over $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. The difference isn't income, it's awareness. Subscription spending alone has increased 435% since 2018. The average household is now spending $273 per month on subscriptions. That's $3,276 per year on services most people barely use. Daily tracking catches that subscription creep before it compounds. Here's what the average person does wrong. They set up automatic bank feeds in an app and never look at it. University research found that passive tracking like this is actually linked to lower financial awareness. The daily habit isn't just categorizing, it's actually engaging with where your money goes. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. The 50-30-20 rule suggests 50% of after-tax income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings. On the median household income of $87,575 for people aged 35 to 44, that 20% equals $17,515 annually. But without daily tracking, that money disappears into lifestyle inflation. With tracking, it builds wealth. The fourth daily habit: eliminate high-interest debt with brutal consistency. The math here is absolutely brutal, and I need you to really understand what's happening. Total U.S. credit card debt just hit $1.233 trillion. The average interest rate on accounts actually carrying balances? 22.30%. The average household with revolving credit card debt is carrying $10,563. Here's where most people completely mess this up. If you're making minimum payments, usually 3% or $35, whichever is higher, on that $10,563 at 22% interest, you know how long it takes to pay off? 22 years. You know how much interest you'll pay? Over $18,000. You're paying nearly triple the original amount. Let me be real with you for a second. Every single dollar of high-interest debt you pay off is earning you a guaranteed 22% return. You cannot get that anywhere else legally. Not stocks, not real estate, not cryptocurrency. When financial advisors talk about paying yourself first, this is what they actually mean. Stop paying the credit card companies first. The Federal Reserve data shows consumers paid $160 billion in credit card interest in 2024 alone. That's $160 billion that could have been building wealth instead of making banks richer. And here's the part that will blow your mind. 61% of Americans with credit card debt have been carrying it for at least a year. 35% believe they'll probably always have revolving balances. This is what nobody tells you. Brain sees that minimum payment as the actual cost. It's not. The actual cost is the opportunity cost of decades of compound growth you're losing while paying 22% interest to someone else. The fifth daily habit: invest consistently regardless of what the market's doing. Here's the uncomfortable reality about building wealth. The S&P 500 has averaged about 10% annual returns since 1928. After inflation, that's roughly 7%. The average millionaire took 32 years to hit that first million. 80% didn't reach millionaire status until after age 50. But here's where it gets interesting. A study of over 10,000 millionaires found that 79% received zero inheritance. 1/3 never earned a six-figure salary in a single year. What separated them? Consistent investing over decades. 8 out of 10 of them invested in their company 401k, and 75% cited regular, consistent investing as the key factor. Let me show you what daily investing actually looks like. That $5 coffee you grab every morning? If you invested $5 per day for 30 years at 7% returns, you'd have $182,788. Your contributions would only be $54,000. The other $128,788 came from compound growth, money that worked while you slept. Think about it this way. Starting at age 25 with $500 monthly investments gets you to $1,318,948 by age 65. Starting at age 35 with the same contributions, only $610,592. That's a $708,356 difference from just 10 years of delay. Time is literally more valuable than the amount you invest when you're young. Right now in 2025, the 401k contribution limit is $23,500 annually. That's $64.38 per day. For people aged 60 to 63, there's a new super catch-up provision allowing an additional $11,250 per year. These limits exist because policymakers finally caught up to what behavioral research proved. The more you can automate into tax-advantaged accounts, the wealthier you become. So, there you have it. 5 daily habits that separate people building wealth from people staying stuck. Don't forget to subscribe if you found this video helpful.